So today I want to talk about identity in recovery and finding your authentic self. In active alcoholism, many of us lived life behind a mask. We played roles like we used terms like I was the life of the party, or I was a party girl. A lot of that, I hear a lot of that recently. We take the role of a rebel. Yeah, rebel without a cause. Yeah, I'm a rebel. I don't conform. This is me. Take it or leave it. People used to leave it quite often. Class clown. That's one what we do, you know. A right laugh. But we were often, we felt like imposters. We didn't feel comfortable in our own skin. We didn't know why we had this feeling. But when we get sober, we've been often acting like this, playing these roles for years, and we believe our own nonsense. We started acting sometimes a lot, well, my own experience, I started acting before, a long time before I picked up a drink. I was playing some role to protect me, I think, I don't know. But I was playing a role, and when I stopped drinking, I didn't know who I was. I didn't have a clue about my true identity or my authentic self. So, who are we when we get sober? Who are we without alcohol? And this is the biggest fear for most people doing a step 4 and 5, or 6 and 7, thinking that they have to change everything about themselves. And some people do. I had to do a lot of change because I was a prolific offender who was most of my teens and early 20s were homeless, and I was not fit for the world, really, and I didn't know this sort of. I did a documentary a few years ago, and it's a bit embarrassing, but I said I described myself as a lovable rogue or a suave gangster, which is, some of my mates and my brother still take the piss out of me to this day, calling myself a suave gangster. But yeah, you create these daft roles in your head. The reality of it, I was a young tramp, and I was managing life as best I could, better than some, not as well as others, but just trying to manage on self, and self's the important word in this. So in the big book on page 62, it says, selfishness and self-centeredness, that we think is the root of all our problems. Not selfishness in the way the world often means, but disconnected, trapped in self, disconnected from the world, disconnected from others, disconnecting from meaning, and most painfully, disconnected from our true selves or our authentic self. Once upon a time, we were connected and we felt comfortable in our own skin. We lived life happy, joyous and free with complete abandon. And Dr. Gabor Mate writes, the loss of the authentic self is the greatest loss a person can experience. And for many of us, that loss came long before the first drink. Addiction wasn't the cause. It was the cover-up. It was the cover-up for God knows what. But it wasn't the cause. It covered up something that we didn't like. So in recovery, when we do the steps, we don't find a new self. It sometimes might feel like that. Recover the old one, that kid who was happy, joyous and free, the kid who lived life with complete abandon, the one that we'd buried under years of trauma and fear. We'd buried him. But when we do the steps, we peel back the layers and we meet the person that we were always meant to be. And you know when you're getting closer to that person, because things start to feel real again. Not perfect, but honest. And you can hear yourself saying things that are honest. And they might not be nice things, but they're honest and they feel right. My experience, alcoholics have got a great antenna. They've got a great knack of spotting bullshit in others. They don't need lie detectors and stuff like that. They can spot it pretty good. And they can spot it in themselves. When they start being honest about themselves, it's a fascinating experience of change, because they love it. They thrive in that. And some get carried away. I got carried away. I used to be honest, brutally honest. I used to say brutally honest for your own good. I was just reveling in the fact that I could be cruel to people and sort of pretend that it was in their interest. But I wasn't. I was stuck in old stuff. But I wasn't scared of it anymore, and I could apply that honesty, self-honesty to myself. And what I was left with after years of wearing a mask was a frightened little boy. So in AA, we talk about spiritual awakenings. We talk about spiritual awakenings a lot, awakening this spirit in down. It says on page 55 of the big book, the great reality that lies within. And we talk about emotional sobriety. People talk a lot about it, but in order to grow emotionally, you first have to get in touch with that authentic self, that child, and that child has to grow up. It's not, we can't act like an adult. Our emotions don't work that way. We have to go back to that child, that authentic self, and that child has to grow up. And we can grow up quick. We can fast track that, but don't go back to acting, because it doesn't sit right with us. Maybe it's simpler to remember, really, that child and start from there. That's unpicking it. Let's just start from where we were, where we left off. Get back to that. Do you remember the time when you were happy, joyous and free? Remember that kid? Let's go from there. And quite often, in my case, I was probably three years old, and there was a number of things, and I started acting, started playing a role from them. So when I got sober, I had to go back there, not physically, but the reality, I wasn't. We don't start life on a level playing field. This world's not, we're not all born equally intelligent, equally physically well endowed, equally beautiful, equally wealthy, equally intelligent. We're not. We're all different. And some start at a better place than others. But if we work, the ones like me who weren't blessed with wealth and, a lot of good stuff can thrive with this illness and grow up and become awesome. So in recovery, your real self is waiting. When we peel back the layers, it's not a new person, it's that old person. You know, the old person who you've shut down. They're not behind you, they're just ahead of you. And Carl Jung, who was one of the most greatest founders of the psychoanalytic movement and one of the main supporters of Alcoholics Anonymous, he said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are, and to be comfortable in your own skin, to be authentic, and to just be comfortable with yourself is the greatest privilege." And surprisingly, there's not loads of people who do it, and I think we're blessed that we have this near-death experience and we can go through it. We have a program to work, so we can get to the point where we started acting, and we can start being who we're supposed to be. And like I said before, most of us who do this, we're a lot better than we think we are. And some of us, you know, I'd say the majority are awesome. So I'll leave it at that.